Band, y'all, ain't they great? These guys are from all around. They all live in Nashville, man. Lead guitar players from Texas, Nacogdoches, Texas. I love that song, though, y'all. I tell you, we wrote that thing, and it just kind of has that classic, nostalgic kind of feel to it. And when I sing it, it kind of has me thinking back to how I first fell in love with music when I was just a kid. You know, I was 5 years old when I got my first cassette. Y'all remember cassettes, those things? And Jeremy, you remember 8-tracks back there, don't you, man? You remember them things? But man, I remember my first cassette, 2 sides, 2 different artists on each side. And I wore that thing out at such a young age. Side 1 was a guy named Little Richard. Y'all remember Little Richard? Man, I love that guy. I was listening to "Keep a Knockin'." It was one of the songs, and the other song went something like "Wop bada boo bop wop bop bang to the booty, oh Rudy, 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 to the booty, oh Rudy. Wop bada boo bop wop bop bang. I got a girl named Sue, yeah, she knows just what to do. Ooh, I got a girl named Sue, yeah, she knows just what to do. Yeah, 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 she rock to the east, rock to the west. She's the girl that I live best. To the Rudy, oh Rudy, 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 to the Rudy, oh Rudy. Wop bada boo bop wop bop bang. Man, I used to sing that all the time. I can just imagine my parents with their 5-year-old singing that going down the hall thinking, we gotta call the doctor. Got a weird kid on our hands. But I loved it at a young age, and then I would flip it over to side B, and this guy changed my world. He really changed music in general, but for me, I was fascinated by him. They still call him the king of rock and roll, and he is that. There will never be another Elvis Presley. There was nobody like him before. And I think on that cassette that I had, Hound Dog was the first song. And then the other one was something like, well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready now. Come get going, don't you? Step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do it, yeah. Stay here for my blue suede shoes. You can knock me down, step on my face, select my name all over the place. Do anything that you want to do, but I'm gonna stay off with them shoes, and don't you? Step on my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything, stay off of my blue suede shoes. Well, you can do anything, stay off of my blue suede shoes. I'm telling you, I just loved Elvis Presley. I would dress up like him for Halloween, go up to these people's houses at 6 years old and ask for some candy and walk away with a curled lip saying, thank you very much. Who is this kid? Oh, word. But that's kind of what started my love for music, was that first cassette. And I kind of wanted to keep learning more and more and figure out new artists and hear new stuff. I was young then, but I remember even on into middle school, my 6th and 7th grade year, we could ride the bus into school, but my 8th grade year, they changed the districts around. It was a whole lot of hoopla. We couldn't ride the bus to school anymore, so we had to ride carpool. It was one day, never forget it, it's a lady named Janetta Smith who was driving us to school. And she was not listening to country music, she was not listening to Elvis Presley, she was listening to 104.7 Foxy Radio. And I had never heard any music like this in my life, but I was loving what I was hearing, y'all. And I remember specifically there was one song that like just, it blew my mind. So this was before iPhones or before Shazam or anything, so I pulled out my pencil and paper from my book bag and started writing down every word to this song so I could get back home after school, hop online, get on LimeWire or something like that, and figure out what this song was. It turned out to be this guy right here. Oh my word. It was something like, hey girl, how you doing? My name is Charlie, last name Wilson. I was wondering if I could take you out, show you a good time, invite you to my house. Here is my number, girl, you can call me, and don't forget it, baby, the name is Charlie, Charlie, yeah. When I tell you that to this day, I am the world's biggest Charlie Wilson fan, I'm telling you, I am the world's biggest Charlie Wilson fan. I've got all of his records, I know all his songs, we've become friends over the years. It's wild. I don't read books, but when his autobiography came out, I was at the beach in North Carolina, drove an hour and a half to the nearest Barnes & Noble, got his book, drove back to the beach and read it in like a day and a half. It was mind-blowing to me, I loved it. But one thing I learned in this book that I didn't know was Charlie Wilson was the lead singer of a band that's one of my favorite bands. I didn't even know it was one of my favorite bands, but I knew a lot of their music. You're telling me that Charlie Wilson was the lead singer of the Gap Band? Are you kidding me? You were the girl that changed my world. You were the girl for me. You lit the fuse, I stand accused. You were the first for me, but you turned me on. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb on me, but you turned me on. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. You dropped the bomb on me. I know y'all did not expect to hear the Gap Band tonight when you came to Scotty. What the?
Hey Scotty, how you doing? It's your Uncle Charlie, Leslie Wilson. You know I love you, nephew. How about you leave the fucking R&B to me? And why don't you get back to singing country music for these fine folks out here? Have a great show.
That's my Uncle Charlie. That's my dog. I will say, clarification. The Gap Band, they were known as the Funk Cowboys. That's what they were. So Uncle Charlie just said, leave the funk and R&B to me. That is what Uncle Charlie said, I promise you. But I will listen to him and we'll get back to the scheduled program. Y'all came to a country music concert tonight. And that is the core of what I grew up listening to. My mama had the good stuff playing when I was growing up. Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, Johnny and James, Dolly Loretta. And I grew up loving country music, and in high school, kind of going on with learning more music and stuff. I remember my sophomore year, I was sitting there with my buddy Kyle Wiggins in Spanish class. I won't tell you any Kyle Wiggins stories because I don't know about the statute of limitations out there, but me and him just did not do well in Spanish class. And it wasn't because I don't know a little Spanish. I'm a quarter Puerto Rican. I don't know if y'all know. I know a little bit of Espanol. But we just would not pay attention in class because all me and him would do was talk about our favorite country artists and our favorite country songs, and we compare notes, and we would make these lists and go home and burn these CDs. We would burn all sorts of CDs of our favorite stuff. But there was one legendary blue CD. I still got it back home in my truck. And it had everything, y'all. I mean, the list was crazy. Keith Whitley and John Anderson, and it just goes on and on. The song that started that CD is one that just kind of will always be a big one for me. I saw walking your way, and you saw walking mine. We laid in the middle, neath that old Georgia pine. We gained a lot of ground, but we both give a little. There ain't no road too long, but we meet in the middle. One of the more underrated bands out there. They got so many songs, so many good songs. And it was around that time for me, after learning all these songs and stuff, I wanted to learn them on guitar, and I wanted to start playing these songs.